Horror fans, this year has been stacked with some of the scariest, bloodiest, and most unforgettable films we've seen in a long time. From supernatural nightmares to twisted slashers to psychological terrors that crawl under your skin, 2025 is proving horror is very much alive. So in today's video, we're counting down the top 10 horror movies of 2025 you absolutely cannot miss. Some will make you scream, some will make you squirm, and a few might just haunt your dreams long after the credits roll. Welcome back to Cinecommendation. Now, let's dive right into the darkness. Number 10. Until Dawn.
I can't.
No, please, no!
Until Dawn brings one of the most chilling video games of the last decade to the big screen, and it doesn't hold back. The story follows a group of friends trapped in a terrifying time loop, forced to relive each night as a new horror stalks them. Sometimes it's masked killers, sometimes it's monstrous wendigos. But the rule never changes: survive until dawn, or start the nightmare all over again. What makes the film so unsettling is how the loop breaks them down piece by piece, exposing hidden fears, shattered friendships, and the crushing trauma of dying again and again. Directed by David F. Sandberg, Until Dawn twists the classic cabin in the woods trope into something brutal and fresh. If you're craving a horror experience that blends shocking deaths with psychological torment, Until Dawn is the perfect way to kick off this list. Number 9. The Monkey.
No!
Based on Stephen King's short story, The Monkey tells the chilling tale of twin brothers who rediscover a wind-up toy from their childhood. At first, it's just an old relic, but then they notice the terrifying truth. Every time the monkey claps its cymbals, someone close to them dies. No matter how hard they try to destroy it, the deaths keep coming, dragging them into a nightmarish fight to break the monkey's curse before it wipes out everyone they love. The film thrives on slow-burn dread, eerie atmosphere, and gruesome deaths. Sure, the pacing isn't perfect. Some might say it leans more into family drama than pure horror, but if you're into splatter horror with dark comic touches rather than cheap jump scares, this one's for you.
Oh, fuck.
Number 8. Together.
You know, this could be the beginning
When you roll over, then you're on my hair.
of something wonderful.
Tim.
So imagine this. You're madly in love, everything feels perfect. But then the person you trust the most slowly turns into your biggest nightmare. That's Together. The setup looks like a sweet romance at first. A young couple moves in sharing laughs, dinners, and dreams. But here's the twist. The forever together promise starts mutating into obsession, control, and something way darker. The film mixes psychological tension with body horror, turning love into something claustrophobic and terrifying. It's a slow burn, and not everyone will vibe with the pacing, but the payoff is brutal, raw, and unforgettable. If you're into horror that digs into human emotions as much as it delivers blood and scares, Together is one you cannot miss. Number 7. The Ugly Stepsister. This chilling Scandinavian horror reimagines the classic fairy tale of Cinderella, but strips away the magic and replaces it with raw psychological terror. It follows a young woman who grows up overshadowed by her seemingly perfect sister, constantly belittled, shamed, and treated as the unwanted, ugly sibling. But when jealousy boils over into obsession, her world spirals into madness, and the line between reality and delusion shatters. This film feels like a dark fever dream. It's bold, disturbing, and drenched in gothic atmosphere, twisting fantasy into raw horror. So yeah, after watching this one, you'll never look at Cinderella's story the same way again. Number 6. 28 Years Later. The rage virus is back, and it's more terrifying than ever. Directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland, 28 Years Later marks the long-awaited continuation of the iconic horror saga. The film jumps nearly 3 decades ahead, where the world has tried to rebuild, but the infection isn't gone. It's waiting. And when it resurfaces, humanity is once again plunged into chaos, survival, and unimaginable fear. On the technical side, the film delivers sharp cinematography, brutal kills, and a sense of scale that makes the franchise feel bigger than ever. While the first half is gripping and tense, the second half does lose some momentum. If you're expecting the raw, groundbreaking punch of 28 Days Later, you might feel a little let down. But taken on its own, 28 Years Later is still a chilling, worthwhile return to one of horror's most terrifying worlds. Number 5. The Gorge.
What's the truth about the gorge?
The Gorge is one of the most unique entries on this list, a film that blends romance, action, and horror into a brutal survival thriller. 2 elite operatives are assigned guard towers on opposite sides of a mysterious gorge to defend humanity from a hidden evil. Over the course of their isolated vigil, they develop a bond while battling threats from within the gorge and their own psychological struggles. This film bleeds with tension, claustrophobic, violent, and yet strangely tender. Every frame pulls you deeper into a nightmare where war and horror blur into one. The performances carry heavy emotional weight, the visuals are haunting, and some set pieces inside The Gorge are straight-up jaw-dropping. It doesn't rely on jump scares, so if you came only for blood, the slow-burn romance might throw you off. But if you love horror stories where romance rots into terror and the environment itself becomes the monster, The Gorge is one you don't dare miss. Number 4. Final Destination. Bloodlines. The Final Destination franchise makes its long-awaited return with Bloodlines. Once again, it begins with a group of unsuspecting people narrowly escaping a horrific disaster, only to realize that death itself is coming for them, one by one, in the most twisted and brutal ways imaginable. Unlike previous films, what makes Bloodlines stand out is how it connects the dots across the entire series, bringing longtime fans face to face with the question, can the chain ever be broken, or is death truly inevitable? The kills are brutal, creative, and shockingly relentless, exactly what fans come for. And just when you think you've guessed the pattern, the film twists it into something even darker. If you've followed this franchise since the beginning, Bloodlines will hit you with pure nostalgia. And if you're new, get ready, because it's a bloody roller coaster ride from start to finish. But hey, before we dive into our top 3 picks, let's take a quick look at some bonus horrors that didn't make the main list but definitely deserve a shout out. First up is Heart Eyes, a slasher rom-com horror where a masked killer terrorizes a couple over Valentine's weekend. Stylish kills, shocking reveals, and Scream-style teen drama make this a bloody fun ride. Next is Wolfman, from Lee Wannell, the director of The Invisible Man. When a father is attacked by an unseen creature, his family watches in horror as he begins to transform into something unrecognizable. A must for monster horror fans. Then we have Clown in a Cornfield, based on Adam Cesare's hit novel. A group of teens in a dying small town are stalked by a killer dressed as their mascot clown. Brutal, bloody, and packed with slasher energy. And finally, It Feeds, a supernatural chiller about a young girl tormented by a dark entity feeding on her. As a clairvoyant psychiatrist and her daughter try to save her, they're pulled into a nightmare of dread, atmosphere, and terrifying jump scares. That's it for the bonus horrors. Now let's move into our top 3 picks. Number 3. Sinners.
Stay. It's you?
Of course it's me. Open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Sinners is a mesmerizing Southern Gothic horror, an unforgettable blend of darkness, music, and myth, all penned and directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 Mississippi, the film follows twin brothers Smoke and Stack, who return to their hometown after lives marked by crime and war. Determined to rebuild, they convert an old sawmill into a juke joint for their community. But their dream turns into a nightmare when their music stirs something ancient, awakening a centuries-old vampire named Remick. The film is audacious, stylish, and genre-defying. Its bluesy score and musical sequences don't just set the mood, they are the mood. Michael B. Jordan's dual performance is haunting and mesmerizing. With stunning cinematography, layered storytelling, unforgettable characters, and relentless tension, Sinners isn't just one of the best horror films of the year, it's one of the best films of the year, period. Number 2. Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is a chilling new horror that blends family drama with pure nightmare fuel. The story follows a brother and sister who move into the secluded home of their new foster mother. At first, it feels like a new beginning, but soon they uncover something far darker, a terrifying ritual hidden within the house, one that threatens to consume them both. With the signature A24 horror flair crafted by the minds behind Talk to Me, the film masterfully blends psychological terror with supernatural dread. Packed with eerie visuals and haunting sound design that will crawl under your skin, Sally Hawkins delivers a performance that's magnetic and terrifying, while young Jonah Wren Phillips brings heartbreaking intensity to the story. This is resurrection horror at its most visceral, unsettling, emotional, and unforgettable. It's not only scary, but also deeply saddening in the way it lingers long after the credits roll. If you haven't watched it yet, Bring Her Back is one horror experience I highly recommend you don't miss. Number 1. Weapons.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school.
Every year, there's that one horror movie people can't stop talking about. In 2025, that's Weapons, from director Zach Cregger, the twisted mind behind the film Barbarian. The nightmare begins when 17 children vanish in a single night at the exact time, all from the same class, except for one lone survivor named Alex. The movie isn't a straight-line story, it's an interwoven nightmare, following multiple characters across different timelines. What makes Weapons so unsettling is its structure. Each segment feels grounded in reality but slowly unravels into dread, forcing you to question what's real, what's imagined, and whether anyone can truly escape the cycle of horror. Like Barbarian, it thrives on unpredictability. You never know where the next scare will come from, or how the stories will connect until the devastating end. Weapons has everything horror fans can crave: messy kills, terrifying jump scares, shocking twists, and a mystery that keeps you glued until the final frame. This isn't just another scary movie, it's the horror event of the year. Don't miss it. And that wraps up our list of the best horror movies of 2025 so far. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss out on best movie and TV recommendations. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.